The death of an old woman is like the burning of a library. This African saying, made popular by Malian writer Amadou Hampate Ba, is usually connected to men. But our second guest is changing the gender, and rightly so, as she goes down memory lane to time spent with her grandmother. Funke-Treasure Durodola did a great job of capturing the stories of her childhood memories in this fascinating book titled Memories of Grandma. It's a collection of stories based on conversations and experiences she had with her grandparents, from farming to hunting to market visits, traditional songs, and tales by moonlight. She has a master's degree in journalism and media studies from Rhodes University, South Africa. Enjoy the interview and watch out for where I made a very feeble attempt at being a backup singer. We'll be back shortly.
Ọsàn gbálùmọ̀ rere, àlùmọ̀. Ọsàn gbálùmọ̀ rere, àlùmọ̀. Again, ọsàn gbálùmọ̀ rere, àlùmọ̀. Níjọ́ jíjẹ ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́, àlùmọ̀. Níjọ́ jíjẹ ọ̀hànràn, àlùmọ̀. Ọsàn gbálùmọ̀ rere, àlùmọ̀. Ọsàn gbálùmọ̀ rere, àlùmọ̀.
It's nice to have you on the Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're used to sitting on this side of the divide, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, but sometimes you exchange. I mean,
Okay, so you'll be on the hot seat today.
I hope it won't be too hard for me.
Great. Nice to have you here, really
Thank
nice.
you.
Memories of Grandma. The last time I saw this, it was blue.
That's
Now
right.
it's pink now. It's been relaunched. How was that? How did that go?
Well, I was in South Africa when this book came out the first time. It was in 2013. And I was away. It was published here in Nigeria, and I thought, just do it. I need this to get off my laptop. Just do it.
Okay.
And then when I come and I see, you know, there's a need to change it, I'll change it. And then majorly to identify with the cause of women across the world. You know, the pink symbolizes a fight for cancer. So I thought a lot of women suffer from cancer. I'd love to be part of any initiative to, you know, fight against cancer. So I thought I'll do this in pink.
Why did you decide to write a memoir focused on your childhood?
It wasn't a conscious effort. I initially didn't know I was going to start writing books. I loved to read. I had a cultural immersion when I was growing up. I was pretty much from a very cultural background where people did the right things that you needed to do from the Yoruba culture. You didn't collect anything with the left hand from anyone older than you. You knelt down properly when you were greeting elders. You didn't jump into conversations when elderly people conversed. And there were a lot of those things that I saw that were gradually eroding. And as an on-air personality on radio, I thought it was not right. So I started talking about these things on radio. I started questioning the havoc that globalization has done to our culture. And I started probing. I kept talking. So sort of I became a culture advocate. And I thought one day that, but I have loads and loads of stories about our culture and traditions that I could put together into a more permanent form, which is what a book is. So I started writing. I kept writing. And I was writing a novel. And then at some point I thought to myself, no, I should rewrite and write in form of short stories and target younger people. So I changed the language, I changed the structure, and I brought up a protagonist, which happens to be me. So I didn't really set out to write about me, but the more I interrogated our culture, I kept seeing these things through my grandparents' eyes and my cultural background as a Yoruba woman, and I thought, why not? Let's do this. And then I started to dig, and I started to ask people to dig along with me in the family. And the more we dug, the more excited I became that this was going to turn out this way. So I went ahead, and here we are.
Memories of grandma, even though a lot of the stories, or all the stories, are your experiences, I still perceived a lot of creativity in the writing. How did you add to the stories? Some of those stories were so were so incredible. I was wondering, did you add to the stories, or were they just your stories?
They're all my
Purely your
stories. Yes, they're all my stories. But what I've done as a creative writer was to embellish and to give it some kind of form. Of course, in reality, it wasn't just one holiday. It was different. I went on vacation at different times, but I distilled all those vacations, all those holidays with grandma and grandpa into one narrative in this book. So what I did was to take my experiences from each of the vacations that I could remember and to make them have a flow in one narrative in this book. But of course, I didn't do that alone. I had to tap into the memories of those around me as well, my siblings, my younger brothers, my mom, my uncles, because there were times I needed to remember the names of some rivers, you know, the names of some neighbors. I needed to remember a line of a song, how this was done. I needed to remember the process of palm oil making again, because there's a chapter on palm oil making, how to make palm oil. And I watched that many times. I watched my grandmother make palm oil many times. I jumped into the echo when she wasn't watching many times. I cracked a kuro with stone. Kuro is palm kernel.
Palm kernel.
You know, I took palm wine with grandpa many times. I watched him do the snuff, and I thought that was memorable for me, the snuff one. How somebody tapped a tin, tapped it, shook it, opened it, scooped it with this with this thumb, and, you know, did like this. And then tears will be streaming down his eyes. I'm like, what's the pleasure in this? Perhaps when I grew up,